All right, let's talk about one of the most important topics you'll face on the CMA exam, resource allocation. Now, I want you to think about it like this. If your company's strategy is the destination and the budget is your map, then resource allocation, that's the fuel. You can have the best map in the world, but if you put that fuel in the wrong tank, guess what? You're not going anywhere.
This really gets to the heart of the matter, doesn't it? It's the fundamental conflict of business, and it's the puzzle every management accountant has to solve. You've only got so much to go around, but believe me, everyone thinks their project deserves it the most. And that's exactly where you, the CMA, step in.
So what are we actually talking about here? Well, officially, it's the process of handing out the company's assets. We're talking cash, people, tech, to all those competing departments and projects. But here's the part that really matters. The reason you're studying for this exam. Your job isn't just to track where the money went. Your job is to help decide where it should go to create the absolute most value. Big difference.
So here's how we're going to break this down today. First, we'll hit the core challenge of scarcity. Then, we'll talk about using strategy as a filter for your decisions. We'll look at the two big buckets where money goes, CapEx and OpEx, explore a couple of ways you can actually allocate it, and we'll wrap up with a huge exam tip, how to avoid the sunk cost trap.
Okay, first up, the core challenge, scarcity. It's simple, really. You can't fund everything. Resource allocation is the answer to that fundamental problem of having limited assets but, unlimited wants.
And this is so important to understand about your role as a CMA. You're not just a number cruncher sitting in a back room. You are proactive. You are a strategic partner. Your job is to look at all the different places the company could put its money and provide the analysis that shows leadership where we'll get the biggest bang for its buck.
So if we can't give everybody what they want, how in the world do we decide? Well, the answer is to let the company's strategy be your guide.
This leads us to what I like to call the strategic filter. Look, successful allocation isn't about being fair and giving every department the same slice of the pie. No way. It's about ruthless prioritization. Every single request for money, for people, for equipment, it has to pass through this filter. And here's the question you have to ask, both for the exam and in real life. Does this specific spending decision actually support our long-term goals? You'll see this on the exam, for sure. If a company says its mission is all about innovation, but you look at the budget and see 90% of it is going to maintain old product lines, ding, 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 you've spotted a problem.
Okay, let's get a little more practical. When we're talking about allocating resources, the money generally flows into two main buckets, and you absolutely have to know the difference between them.
Those two buckets are capital expenditure, or CapEx, and operating expenditure, or OpEx. Think of CapEx as the big, long-term stuff, a brand new factory, a massive software upgrade. These are huge decisions, so we use heavy-duty tools like net present value and internal rate of return to figure them out. Then you've got OpEx. That's just the day-to-day money you need to keep the lights on. Salaries, rent, utilities, that kind of thing.
And all this deciding brings us to a concept that is all over the CMA exam, opportunity cost. It sounds complicated, but it's not. Every single time you say yes to one thing, you are automatically saying no to something else. So if you decide to spend $1 million on a new production line, you can't use that same million for a cool R&D project. The potential profit you just gave up from that R&D project, that is your opportunity cost.
So we know what we're spending money on, but the how, the method you use to actually build the budget, can make a huge difference.
Let's look at the two big ones. First, there's incremental budgeting. Honestly, this is kind of the lazy way. You just take last year's budget and add or subtract a few percent. Sure, it's fast, but it's also dangerous because it just bakes in all of last year's waste. Then you have the gold standard, zero-based budgeting, or ZBB. With this, everybody starts at zero. Every department has to justify every single dollar they're asking for. It takes a lot more time, yeah, but it's the best way to find waste and shift money from projects that are dying to projects that are actually growing.
All right, let's finish up with a final, really important tip. This is a classic trap, both in business and on the exam, so listen close. We need to talk about sunk costs.
Here's the number one rule. All of your allocation decisions have to be forward-looking. You've probably seen this happen. A company keeps throwing good money after bad on a failing project just because they've already spent so much. That's the sunk cost trap. But listen, the money you already spent, it's gone. It's irrelevant. Your decision today should only be about the future potential.
Okay, so let's quickly recap our key takeaways. Number one, always prioritize based on strategy.
Number 2, understand your opportunity costs. What are you giving up with every yes? Number 3, use that zero-based mindset to challenge everything and find efficiencies. And finally, and this is a big one, don't let sunk costs cloud your judgment about the future.
And that leaves us with one simple, powerful question that should be your guide through all of this. For every decision, you need to ask, is this the absolute best use of our next dollar? If you can answer that question with confidence, you're not just getting ready for an exam, you're on your way to becoming a seriously valuable strategic partner. You've got this.